Space around the outer trade corridor was usually quiet. Long lanes of starlight stretched between distant systems, watched by Empire sensors that had not changed in centuries. Patrol ships drifted in careful patterns, their crews bored and confident. Nothing unexpected ever came from this edge of controlled space. That belief was about to end. The first alert came as a soft tone in the command deck of the Imperial cruiser Valorous. Captain John Carter looked up from a data slate, annoyed more than concerned. Minor sensor ghosts were common so far from the core worlds. Lieutenant Lisa Brown adjusted the sensor array again, her brow tight with focus. The signal did not vanish. Instead, it grew stronger. She reported an energy spike without a clear origin. It was not a jump gate flare or a known drive signature. It appeared as if something had stepped into reality itself. John ordered a full scan, expecting a drifting rock or a damaged trader. The display bloomed with unreadable data. Shapes shifted, numbers refused to settle. The system could not agree on what it was seeing. Within seconds, the object resolved into a single ship. It was small compared to the Empire cruiser, but its outline made no sense. No familiar armor plates, no exposed weapon mounts, no rotating sections. It looked smooth, almost simple, like a dark blade floating between stars. No engine glow could be detected. John felt a cold weight settle in his chest. The Empire cataloged everything. Unknown ships did not exist, yet here it was, silent and close. He ordered a general alert. Nearby escorts moved into formation, their crews waking from routine. Paul Adams, tactical officer aboard one of the destroyers, felt excitement more than fear. An unknown ship meant a chance for glory. The Empire had crushed pirates, rebels, and ancient machines. One strange vessel would be no different. Standard protocol demanded contact. A tight beam message was sent, identifying the Empire battle group and ordering the vessel to respond. There was no reply. Seconds passed, then a minute. The unknown ship did not move. Lisa ran deeper scans and frowned. The ship's surface absorbed most sensor pings, returning almost nothing. Internal readings were impossible to get. It was like trying to listen through silence itself. She quietly told John that the ship might not even be using conventional power. John did not like that answer. He did not like any of this. Still, he followed doctrine. He ordered the ship to power weapons but hold fire. Intimidation often worked. Most species learned fear quickly. Far away, inside the unidentified ship, the atmosphere was calm. Lights were low and soft. Displays showed the Empire formation in perfect clarity. Commander Alex Morgan stood with hands behind his back, studying the enemy ships. His face showed no anger, only focus. Emma Clark, the ship's engineer, monitored systems that ran far beyond Imperial understanding. The ship was not fully powered. It did not need to be. Its passive defenses were already active, bending space just enough to confuse sensors. She informed Alex that the Empire had moved into a classic containment pattern. Predictable, outdated. Alex nodded. This was not the first time humanity had watched another power posture and threaten. Humanity had learned patience through hard history. The mission was simple: observe, avoid escalation, survive if necessary. Back on the Valorous, the Empire fleet tightened its grip. Kevin Ross, communications officer, tried several frequencies. Silence answered every call. The lack of response was seen as disrespect. Whispers spread across the decks. Some crew members laughed. Others felt uneasy. An admiral's voice broke across the command channel. Admiral Henry Stone had arrived with reinforcements. His tone carried confidence earned through decades of easy victories. He declared the unidentified ship in violation of Empire space and authorized force if compliance was not achieved. John acknowledged the order, though doubt lingered. He requested permission to attempt closer scanning. The Admiral agreed. A scout drone was launched, gliding toward the unknown vessel. As the drone approached, its signal began to distort. Images stretched and bent. Then, without warning, the feed cut out. No explosion, no debris. The drone simply ceased to exist. The bridge went silent. Lisa whispered that the drone had not been destroyed by energy or impact. It had been displaced, removed from normal space. The technology required to do that was far beyond anything the Empire possessed. Fear crept into John's voice as he reported the loss. The admiral paused longer than expected before responding. That pause was noticed across every deck. Still, pride ruled. The admiral ordered warning shots, controlled, measured, just enough to show power. Plasma cannons fired. Bright streaks crossed the void, aimed wide of the target. They never reached their mark. Each bolt curved away at the last moment, pulled aside by invisible forces. The unknown ship did not move. On the human vessel, Alex exhaled slowly. Emma confirmed that the defense field had adjusted automatically. No hostile action was required. The ship was still holding restraint protocols. Alex considered the situation. The Empire was testing limits as expected. Humans had learned that fear often led to poor decisions. The key was to remain calm while others lost control. On the Empire side, panic spread. Paul Adams stared at his tactical display, unable to believe what he saw. Weapons that could crack moons were being bent like toys. Officers argued. Some demanded retreat. Others shouted for full attack. John requested permission to withdraw and report. The admiral denied it. Retreat from a single unknown ship was unthinkable. The Empire had an image to maintain. More ships arrived, forming a solid wall of metal and firepower. Daniel Price, a young sensor officer, noticed something troubling. The unknown ship was not reacting faster as pressure increased. It was already perfectly positioned, as if it had known exactly where to be from the start. Daniel shared his concern. He was ignored. Another order was given, a closer pass. Fighters launched, small and fast. They swarmed toward the dark vessel, weapons hot. Inside the human ship, Emma's hands moved lightly across controls that required no physical touch. The ship adjusted again, shifting its field in precise patterns. Alex allowed the fighters to come closer. Sometimes lessons needed to be felt. The fighters fired. None of their shots landed. Space around the human ship twisted subtly. Fighters lost orientation, spinning wildly as their guidance systems failed. One by one, they drifted powerless, pilots alive but trapped. Alex ordered recovery assistance ready, though he knew the Empire would not accept it. Still, the option remained. Humanity did not seek unnecessary death. On the Valorous, the sight broke something in the crew. These were not enemies who fought harder under pressure. They fought smarter, cleaner, without visible effort. John felt shame rise alongside fear. He realized the Empire was not facing a rogue ship or a lost traveler. It was facing a power that had chosen not to announce itself until now. He sent a final message, voice steady despite shaking hands. He apologized for the aggression and requested dialogue. For the first time, a response came. It was simple, calm, spoken in clear translated language. The message stated that the ship was on a peaceful transit and had no hostile intent. It warned that further attacks would be met with decisive defense. It ended with a name, humanity. The word spread like fire through the fleet. Humanity was known only in outdated surveys, a minor species confined to a single system. Technologically average, politically fractured, not a threat. That belief shattered in an instant. Admiral Stone demanded more information, demanded proof, demanded surrender. The response did not change. No threats, no boasts, only calm certainty. Alex watched the Empire fleet struggle with the truth. He knew this moment would echo far beyond this corridor. First contact rarely happened as planned. Sometimes it happened through misunderstanding and fear. Emma reported that multiple Empire ships were powering weapons beyond safe limits. Panic was driving them toward a catastrophic choice. Alex made a decision. If they fired again, restraint would end. Humanity would survive even if the lesson was harsh. The human ship remained still, a quiet shadow against the stars, while the Empire stood at the edge of its own mistake. The balance of power had already shifted. The galaxy simply had not realized it yet. Silence hung over the battlefield after the word humanity reached the Empire fleet. Ships drifted in tight formation, weapons charged but unfired. Crews waited for orders that did not come. Fear moved through the ranks, quiet and heavy. On the command deck of the Valorous, Captain John Carter felt time stretch. Every second without action made the situation worse. Empire doctrine had no answer for calm resistance backed by unseen power. The fleet had been trained to overwhelm, not to hesitate. Admiral Henry Stone finally broke the silence. His voice was firm, but the edge of certainty was gone. He ordered all ships to hold position and begin full data capture. If this was humanity, then the Empire needed to understand what it was facing. Sensor teams worked frantically. Lisa Brown coordinated with other analysts, trying to piece together anything useful. The human ship still refused to show normal emissions. It was as if it existed slightly apart from space. Energy readings bent and slipped away when examined too closely. Lisa realized with growing dread that the ship was not hiding. It simply did not care if it was seen. Nearby, damaged fighters floated helplessly. Their pilots sent distress calls that echoed across open channels. Some begged for rescue, others cursed in panic. The Empire could not retrieve them without moving closer to the human ship. John requested permission to recover the pilots. The Admiral hesitated. Finally, he agreed, ordering unarmed shuttles only. It was the first act of restraint the Empire had shown. Inside the human vessel, Alex Morgan watched the rescue effort begin. He allowed it. Emma Clark adjusted the defensive field slightly, opening safe corridors without announcing them. Imperial shuttles passed through unharmed, unaware they were being guided. Alex felt a quiet sadness. This did not need to be a fight. Fear had shaped too many first meetings across history. As pilots were recovered, rumors spread across the Empire fleet. Officers whispered that the human ship could have destroyed them already. Others insisted it was a bluff. Denial clashed with reality. Paul Adams argued loudly on his bridge that the Empire should strike now before more weakness showed. His words were echoed by several captains. Pride burned hotter than fear in some hearts. Admiral Stone listened. Then he made a choice that would haunt him. He ordered a limited strike aimed at disabling the human ship's engines. Not full destruction, he claimed, just control. John protested. Lisa protested. They were overruled. Weapons powered up across the fleet. Energy levels spiked far beyond earlier warning shots. Daniel Price watched his displays flash red as systems strained. He knew this was a mistake. Inside the human ship, alarms did not sound. Systems adjusted smoothly. Emma reported increased aggression and asked for authorization to lift restraint limits. Alex paused. Then he gave the order, defensive only. No lethal force unless required. When the Empire fired, space itself seemed to fold. The first wave of energy vanished before reaching its target, swallowed by a distortion field. The second wave reflected outward, scattering harmlessly into the void. The third wave triggered something worse. Several Empire ships lost power instantly. Lights went dark. Engines died. Crews screamed as gravity failed. No explosions followed. The ships were simply turned off. Panic exploded across command channels. Captains shouted conflicting orders. Some ships tried to retreat, only to find their drives unresponsive. John gripped his chair as the Valorous shuddered. Systems flickered but held. He realized the human ship was choosing which vessels to disable. Precision beyond belief. Alex watched carefully. Every move was calculated to end the fight without bloodshed. Humanity had learned long ago that true power lay in control, not destruction. Emma warned that some Empire vessels were overloading reactors in panic. If they exploded, thousands would die. Alex made another decision. With a subtle shift, the human ship extended its field further. Unstable reactors were dampened. Chain reactions were stopped before they began. The Empire never noticed how close it had come to total disaster. On the Valorous, Lisa stared at her readings in disbelief. The enemy was protecting them from themselves. That truth broke something inside her. Admiral Stone demanded answers, his voice shaking now. He accused humanity of manipulation, of deception, of hidden invasion. Alex responded directly this time, opening a clear channel. He spoke simply. Humanity had no interest in Empire territory. The ship had entered by mistake due to a navigation anomaly. Aggression had forced a response. Continued attacks would end badly for the Empire. There was no threat in his tone. That made it worse. Stone could not accept this. Empires survived on dominance. Admitting fault meant losing control. He ordered one final strike, pulling energy from every remaining weapon. John closed his eyes. Daniel whispered a quiet curse. Lisa felt tears form. Inside the human ship, Emma did not wait for permission. She knew what was coming. Alex nodded once. Restraint ended. The human ship moved for the first time. It did not rush or charge. It simply shifted position, appearing closer to the center of the Empire formation. Space rippled outward. Every Empire ship was suddenly locked in place. Then the disabling wave came. It was silent, invisible, unstoppable. Systems across the fleet shut down at once. Weapons, engines, shields, communications all died together. Not a single ship remained functional. Crews were left floating in powerless metal shells, alive but helpless. Alex stopped the field and waited. Minutes passed. No further attacks came. There could be none. John sat in darkness, lit only by emergency lights. He understood now. The Empire had not faced destruction because humanity had chosen mercy. Alex sent one final message. Humanity desired peace, but it would never accept intimidation. Any future contact would require respect. Then the human ship turned away. With a brief distortion, it vanished from Empire space. What remained was silence, broken only by stunned breathing and the slow drift of defeated warships. The Galactic Empire's battle group had not survived the encounter. Not in fire and ruin, but in pride. The galaxy had changed forever. The galaxy moved forward, but nothing felt the same. After the Empire's defeat, old habits faded slowly. Patrols became cautious. Borders were watched with new fear. Every unknown signal carried weight. On the Empire capital world, preparations for the first true meeting with humanity continued in silence. No grand fleets gathered. No shows of strength were planned. The Council had learned restraint the hard way. Mary Hill worked day and night with diplomats, linguists, and historians. Every word mattered. Every tone mattered more. The message they would send could shape centuries. She remembered the drifting warships, the quiet mercy, and the calm warning. Humanity was not an enemy to provoke. John Carter assisted her, offering insight from someone who had been there. He warned against pride hidden in polite language. Humanity would sense it. They always did. Honesty was the only path forward. The final message was simple. It acknowledged fault. It expressed respect. It asked for understanding, not forgiveness. When it was sent, the council chamber emptied. Waiting began again. Far beyond Empire space, the human ship slowed near a distant star. This time it did not hide. It allowed its presence to be felt, a clear signal instead of a shadow. Alex Morgan stood alone, reading the Empire's message. He felt the weight of humanity's past press against the future. Contact had come sooner than planned, but avoidance was no longer possible. Emma Clark joined him, quietly checking systems that needed no adjustment. She asked if he believed peace could last. Alex answered that peace was never permanent. It was a choice made again and again. The human response was sent. It welcomed dialogue. It accepted apology without demanding punishment. It warned that humanity would defend itself and others if threatened. It offered something rare in galactic history: balance. Replies spread across the galaxy in minutes. Reactions were immediate and divided. Some powers felt relief. Others felt fear sharpen into resolve. A few felt anger. Small worlds began to hope. The first meeting was arranged in neutral space. No warships, no hidden fleets, only envoys. John Carter traveled as part of the Empire delegation. His hands shook as his ship exited jump space. Ahead waited a human vessel, smaller than expected, simple in form. It did not feel threatening. That somehow made it more intimidating. Inside, humans waited. Alex Morgan watched the Empire ship arrive. He felt no hatred, only caution. History taught that fear could turn apology into betrayal. When the delegations met, there were no raised voices, no demands, just careful words spoken by tired beings who understood the cost of mistakes. Mary Hill spoke for the Empire. She admitted wrong. She admitted ignorance. She admitted fear. Alex listened. Then he spoke for humanity. He explained that humanity had grown under constant threat. War had shaped their science, their culture, their restraint. Power was meaningless without control. He said humanity did not seek rule or worship. It sought survival and stability. Those words carried farther than weapons ever could. Agreements followed slowly. Shared borders, open channels, observation, not occupation. The Empire accepted limits for the first time in its history. Other powers watched closely. Some joined talks. Others withdrew, plotting quietly. Humanity did not rush. Months passed, trade resumed, borders softened, fear faded into caution. Lisa Brown became part of a joint research group studying the gap between human and empire science. The gap was vast but not cruel. Humans shared concepts, not weapons, lessons, not shortcuts. She realized humanity's greatest strength was not its ships, it was patience. Far from politics, rumors spread among civilians. Stories of humans who stopped wars before they began. Humans who watched silently, stepping in only when lines were crossed. Some called them guardians, others called them monsters. Humanity accepted neither title. Alex Morgan returned to deep space after talks concluded. His mission continued: observe, protect, remain unseen when possible. Emma asked if the galaxy would truly change. Alex looked at the stars and said change was already happening, slowly, painfully, but it was happening. On the Empire capital world, a monument was built, not to celebrate victory but to remember failure. Drifting ships carved into stone, powerless yet intact. John Carter stood before it one last time before retiring. He felt relief. Survival without understanding was not victory. The galaxy learned a hard truth. Humanity had arrived quietly. It did not conquer. It did not beg. It simply made its presence known, and the balance of power shifted forever. And somewhere beyond the maps and borders, human ships continued to watch, ready to act if needed, hoping they never would.